Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going to do an update on this service bed. So, a little while ago I did the first video showing everything about this bed, when I got it, and I did a video, a 6-foot service bed for my 2015 Silverado. I've also got a series on the Silverado. I still need to make an update on that was crashed. And moving along a little bit on that, this is the bed for that truck. So salvage repair, I'm not sure what that one, 2015-16 Silverado 2500 Duramax, got sideswiped. So I got that vehicle from a salvage situation and ended up doing a service bed on it. If you had not seen the previous video, go check it out before this one. You will see where this bed started from. 6-foot service beds are pretty hard to find in my area. I'm sure they're kind of hard to find everywhere. But this is what I found to refurbish for this truck. It was in pretty rough shape. Like I said, check out the previous video. You'll see where we wound up. This service bed was all white. We went through, first thing I did was cut. There was a top box I cut off of it. There was a toolbox on the inside that went all the way down this side. There was a little half of a tailgate. I think there was some ghetto little headache rack on here. There was a big bumper welded onto this thing. So we cut apart everything and sandblasted it all down. I have all my sandblasting done for me. Basically, they'll just sandblast what you take to them. There was some tape here. They're not going to remove the tape for you. They're not going to get behind the doors. They're not going to sandblast enclosed areas. So you kind of get what you get with these sandblasting companies. I had all of the lining underneath sandblasted off. There's a little bit left over. Nothing I'm too worried about. We had the whole entire bed on a rotisserie. Everything sandblasted off to give us a fresh work surface. So then we went through, we welded up every hole that we weren't going to use. There was rivet holes here. There was some cracks and stuff. This is body damage we're marking out. I had to bend the front back. This was where the headache rack mounted. So we went through, welded up all of the holes, and there was some cracks in here we went through and welded up. So you can see those on the previous video. We removed this door. This door was too bad a shape to actually, let's see if I can get it out here, to actually repair it. It's bent. A lot of the damage actually disappeared when it was sandblasted, but this door's wavy. So we're just going to rebuild that door. That's the first time I've ever rebuilt a door, so we're going to see how that goes. This is the type of stuff we went and welded up. Got all those welded up. So we welded up the old headlight holes it had in here, the license plate holes, cut off the bumper and everything. Let me jump up here. So there was a top box you can see going all the way across here. We cut it off, welded up the holes that was for the latch on the inside of the cross box. There was a few mounting holes inside. There was a big, like, kind of rat pack situation they had over here. Yeah, so got everything welded up, everything sealed up. We went through, drilled some holes for our side marker lights. I bought these Napite, so these are my favorite handles to use. They went up in price quite a bit, but we went through, cut a slot out for the handles, put some chain link in here, braced them, got everything where it shuts real nice. So Every door, I can't operate that one. That one's got 2 handles. There was 2 handles on it before, so that's what we went back with. Had to cut out some rust, actually in the other front box. So got all the handles replaced. And we had to cut out some rust in this front box. Right there, there was a little rusty patch. Ended up going into this beam, so we cut all the way back, sanded, cleaned up the rust on the back of this beam. We primered everything with a weld-through primer. So everything that gets welded over, see if this thing will focus. 3M weld through, what does it say? Weld through 2. So sealed everything up there, and then we've got the tail lights cut out, so that'll be for the plug-in, the mounts for it. Let me bust one of those out real quick. So Knapide makes some good hardware. Their beds are outrageous, so and their beds are kind of thin. So that's the wiring harness. These are the tail lights I like to use. I've used these on previous beds. They're kind of a flush mount. Everything except for that plug-in. So let me pop that in here. So these are the tail lights I'm going to end up using. I like the look of them. They're actually pretty durable lights. So got those all cut out. There's a gasket behind them. Everything will seal there. And then we just have the one plug-in in the inside. Couple bolts. So that'll have blinker, brake light, reverse light. The only other thing we need is license plate light, license plate. So this thing didn't have a full tailgate, so welded on the brackets for the tailgate, and we kind of just duplicated what like RKI uses. So that's the tailgate that'll go across. Pretty basic. No, this one will actually just sit on the sides of the tailgate is actually what stops it from going down. It'll be completely level, self-supporting, so no cables or anything necessary. And then, not sure if this is what we're going to do, but we've got these little weld-on spring style latches that we could put through here, weld them in, and they'll latch in right here. You won't be able to lock it, but you don't really need to lock these tailgates. So they make some bigger versions of these, but we're going to see. We might end up using these. That's our first good option. So yeah, everything is kind of ready for paint now. So I always like to try new coatings. So Raptor liner, which you've seen me use in previous videos, makes a Raptor epoxy primer. Well, unfortunately, they sent it to me and it leaked everywhere. So that's the primer hardener. You've got an epoxy primer. One of these is the, oh, this should be the hardener for this liner. So I'm going to go through and epoxy primer all of the underneath. I'm going to get everything done underneath. And the underneath is going to be lined with the Raptor bed liner. This is what I have on my truck. I just painted a Nissan Altima with this stuff. So it's pretty good. It's pretty durable for everything but a truck bed. This stuff works awesome for underbody and all that stuff. I like it. Really easy to paint. It's really reasonable. But I would never trust it inside of the truck bed. Underneath, it's going to look great. It's going to coat it and keep it from rusting and seal up all the little cracks and crevices. So the next thing we're going to do is go in here. We have to sand all of the inside by hand, well, a little sandblaster would work, but we'll just sand everything in here by hand. We're gonna epoxy coat everything in here. And then I've got a new product I'm gonna try, which is supposedly better than Raptor liner. So Durabac 18 polyurethane. And so even then, Raptor liner, you don't really have enough room to get in here and spray everywhere that you want. So Herculiner makes a spray can, I was told works excellent for the inside of boxes. I have not tried it yet. But this is a roll-on coating. So we're going to cut these brushes in half. We'll get a little roller. And this is chemical resistant, supposedly holds up really well to gas, diesel, all that stuff. And even though there's not going to be that stuff in the box, you know that sometimes, you know, whatever WD-40 or any of that stuff ends up in here. So we'll epoxy coat everything. Durabac also makes colored coatings. So originally I was going to do a green coating, and they were out of stock, so I ended up getting black. But I wish I could have tried their green because it matched the truck really well. So yeah, we'll figure out shelving situation and stuff in here. End up coating the box because it's really hard to paint. I don't like painting in these, and the paint gets destroyed anyways. Probably on some of my other videos you can see either the bed was white and the inside just got left white because it was a new bed or whatever. Or I painted one that was green and the insides ended up white because the customer didn't want to pay to coat the inside. So, but I basically have free reign over everything on this. So we're going to coat the inside of the boxes. Our next step, the reason I welded these in, so I completely welded everything in here, and I am going to rhino line the bed, Line-X, sorry. Rhino lining's good, Line-X is one of the best. So I'll have it sent off. We're going to rhino line the bed, the walls, the top, all the way up to this seam here. So we'll rhino line everything up top. And because I did body work and a bunch of grinding and welding and everything on the backs of these beds end up beat up. We're going to wrap the rhino lining all the way around the front, or the rear of the bed. We're going to go all the way down behind the bumper. Everything on the back here, the whole back will be rhino lined, and both tops. And then, since this isn't a abused, you know, you're not going to really be able to abuse the front of this. Painting is a little bit more expensive and time consuming to get it to look good. I'll probably Raptor line the entire front of this. I might just have them Line-X it, but we'll just coat that black. The only thing painted to match will be the side of the bed. So I think that'll look pretty good. I've got to go through, fix some fenders, stuff like that. And then we got to go through and build a headache rack for this guy. So, like I said, check out the previous video. This bed came pretty far. Oh, and we're going to rhino line the whole entire tailgate. So this will all be epoxy coated. I already talked to the Line-X guys. They said epoxy coating will work really well. They just let it sit, rough it up, and then they'll Line-X over that. We're going to epoxy coat the whole tailgate. They're going to rhino line the whole entire thing. These are actually just spacers we use to line everything up. We'll cut the spacers out. The rhino lining is going to build up quite a bit in here. It's going to blend everything in and seal everything up. We're going to build up a lot of rhino lining on the tailgate and on the outside of this guy. After that, our bolts will end up going through the side, bolting into the tailgate, and whatever space we have left over, we could just take up with washers. And then everything's going to be nice, sealed, durable, and hopefully last a long time through multiple trucks for sure. Everything will be coated underneath. The only thing you got to be careful of, Line-X and Rhino-Line, I keep saying Rhino-Line because they're the original guys. That's who I was used to dealing with. But I use Line-X on everything now. Goes on at several hundred degrees. It will melt Raptor liner. So, and then the other thing is I have to paint everything first, and I'll get paint behind here and then Rhino or Line-X up over the paint, and that way you have a clean line and you're not trying to paint up to Line-X. So everything gets epoxy coated, that way it don't rust in the meantime. That way I could sit it outside. The whole entire bed will get epoxy coated. Very durable paint. This thing will be very damage resistant. That's the update I have on this thing. Moving along here. So I've got another 1 or 2 service bed videos, but mainly just finished products. I've never really shown the center of these. I get focused on a project. I don't video any of this stuff. This stuff gets done nights and weekends. Up until here recently, I had a full-time job, and this shop was side work. So, yeah, follow along. I know, these service bed videos do pretty well. This one's gonna turn out really well. You'll see the truck it's going on. The truck got a bunch of body work, a bunch of paint, and everything done to it. So, yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow along. I've got a lot of other content. Check out my other videos. Check the video out, the previous video if you haven't. We'll see you the next time. Thanks for watching.